Hey guys, Jacob with Jacob Comics. Alright, we have a really fun episode today. We're going to be reviewing Gold Goblin number one with Norman Osborn as the Gold Goblin now. And yeah, before we get dived into that, I do want to let you guys know about the 600 subscriber giveaway. And when we hit 600 subscribers, we'll be giving this book away. It's a Marvel number one variant cover. All you have to do is like the video, comment down below, and be subscribed to the channel. And when we hit 600 subscribers, we'll be giving the book away. Now, as always, we'll be going heavy into spoilers for Gold Goblin number one. So if you don't want to be spoiled, that's your warning. Next up, we always shout out the creative team because without the creative team, we wouldn't have a comic book, right, guys? So in Gold Goblin number one, we have Christopher Cantwell as the writer, Lan Medina is doing the art, Antonio Fabella is doing colors, and letters are done by VC's Joe Sabino. And there is a foreword. I'll go ahead and read that. As you know, he just first appeared last week, but this story's been kind of set up for a while. But hey, let's kind of recap it a little bit with this Marvel forward. And that says Norman Osborn has been many things in his life: businessman, politician, father, and grandfather, and most notably, supervillain as Green Goblin. Norman committed unspeakable atrocities at every turn. That was all taken away when the vigilante Sin Eater took away Norman's sins and left him a cleansed man. To make up for his past wrongs, Norman is giving the other side of superheroics a go as Gold Goblin. Norman Osborn has been cleaning up his act. As the CEO of a new Oscorp, he helped his former nemesis Peter Parker design a new high-tech suit for his super identity Spider-Man. He even gave the down on his luck Peter a job so that the hero could keep an eye on Norman and keep him from going back down the dark path he'd been saved from. But no road to redemption would be complete without trials and tribulations. Norman was forced to give in to his ultimate temptation and step back on a glider in order to save Spider-Man from two hobgoblins. Surely, this new Osborn can keep his goblin tendencies at bay, right? Um, as we start, and Norman is hanging out with his grandson, who's practicing at the batting alley, basically, uh, just trying to hit the ball as the machine shoots the ball at him, and he's talking with him, and they kind of build a little bit of that he's a good guy and he has a family and everything, while at the same time he's kind of thinking about how he's remorseful for all the atrocities he's committed ever since Sin Eater took all his sins away, and it's left a gaping hole in his heart. And now that his sins are gone, he can actually feel the pain that they caused him for the first time. Um, Now he also says that lately he's been trying to fill this gaping hole with good things, but but and as we see, his grandson, every time he hits the ball, um, Norman hears the breaking of Gwen Stacy's neck, and we see here at the end, he says that the hole is gaping, and he's pretty teary eyed, as you can see, and there's some of the panels of him, kind of reliving that moment, but now with sadness in his heart, and he says, "I'll admit it felt good to take down the hobgoblin with Peter. Damn good. The hole is gaping, because honestly, it was like I was hitting myself." And there's this great shot of kind of an evil gold goblin reflection on the gold goblin uh, mask that he has, right? And we see that through this, he's finally made it to the office, and Peter showed up. Um, and Peter relays to him that the news, the Daily Bugle has donned him as the Gold Goblin, and this kind of bothers him, and again, more he gets more visions of Gwen and her death, and so he's very tormented, right? And Peter's just, he doesn't know what to do, and he says, "I look. Part of me thinks, despite everything, maybe a shred of good can come out of, you know, everything. But you know what they say, Norman? Fool me once. I don't even think there's a saying for fool me 100 times. Maybe that one ends with I'm Spider-Man." And Osborn replies, "Listen, I'm going to give it a real shot, putting my life on the line, trying to write some of the. It's literally the least I can do." And Peter says, "Well, you're the boss. Good luck with the rebranding." And as Norman thinks, you know, as Peter walks away, they've donned me the Goblin. And then he gets visions of Goblin, who comes in and says, "It's what you are, isn't it? A pile of terrible old deeds and not much else." Norman says, "No, I've been cleansed." And the Goblin replies, "Ha! And now that they got the stains out of the laundry, the clothes aren't much worth wearing, huh? Norman, how's that feel? To be a ghost of who you once were." As he reveals that he's Harry. And Norman says, "Harry, I'm sorry." And Harry slaps him and then transforms into the Green Goblin again, and says, "Don't condescend to me, and don't throw some hissy fit when people recognize you for what you are and what you will always be." As he walks out of the office, and he's obviously very tormented, and he thinks, I need to be, no more goblins. As he steps into the elevator, and we see uh, more visions of Gwen, except this time she approaches him and talks to him, and she says, "Going down?" He says, I, stammering, saw Peter talk to you. I, I'm going insane." And she replies, "Wouldn't be the newest development, but no, you're not getting off that easy. You're not the victim here. That wouldn't be fair to the actual ones like me." Norman says, "I don't know what you're talking about." As she dies with her neck broken, and says, "How about now? I'm talking about guilt, Mr. Osborn. Welcome to it." And as he thinks, it's getting worse. Um, and as he arrives at where he was, going to the elevator to check on the Gold Goblin suit, and he ends up deciding he's gonna go ahead and don the Gold Goblin suit to stop Jack o' Lantern, no less. And so Jack o' Lantern um, has been, I guess, showing up and stealing some of his Oscorp stuff, and he's not happy about it, breaking the law, and so he goes, "Jack o' Lantern, Jason Macendale used to dress up like this punk years ago until he briefly upgraded to the Hobgoblin, which is still off the peak by a few shades of green. I don't know who this current schmuck is, but I've been tracking him. He's been scoring big in the black market skeleton trade. As, you know, he says he sells to desperate med schools, garden variety creep shows. Sometimes he even makes new inventory from live specimens. I thought I could stop him with this sting operation. It's probably a bad idea." And so we see the two of them get into an all out fight, talking back and forth. Um, he he calls him a cut rate bargain basement poser. And his reply is, "I'm an entrepreneur, just like you, Norman." As he tries to fly away on his glider, Goblin chases him on his glider. He ends up infecting him with nanobots, and the nanobots pretty much take down as he referred to him, cut rate bargain basement poser. Comes up to him. He doesn't finish him off as cruelly as he did in Amazing Spider-Man. He just says, "Poor Jack, you're no goblin. You're no goblin at all." But some kids come up after he's captured the bad guy, and they're like, "You're Norman Osborn, the Gold Goblin." And he says, I'm not a." And before he can say hero, the kid says, "Can I have your autograph?" And he's very shocked and says, do you have something to write on?" And they give him a. It's kind of strange. I'm not really sure what this is in reference to, but they hand him a skull, and he signs as the Gold Goblin. And the kid runs away. So cool. And he thinks, "No more goblins, just guilt. Welcome to it. To be continued." So that's the first Gold Goblin. Um, Obviously, there's a bunch more on the page there than I read. Just lots of inner monologue of him. He is definitely a tortured soul over all the crimes he's committed, guys. And what's weird is I guess like because I'm a Norman Osborn fan, and I've followed the story for quite a while. I I'm I'm entertained by this. It actually is like kind of interesting. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen with this tortured superhero. Um, I'm actually leaning towards the side. I hope he doesn't turn back into the Green Goblin. I hope he's able to handle his demons. Um, I mean, this guy does have a super cool design. Almost kind of reminds me of the Silver Surfer, but golden maybe. And I mean, he's a classic character. It's been around for just a long time. And I think this new turn, it could be fun. And we're kind of exploring the psyche of a tortured soul, and I'm on board for that, actually, I guess. So yeah, I give Gold Goblin number one a thumbs up. Um, the art is, it's not the best artist around, but the art was good. There wasn't anything that took me out of the story or anything. I recognized the characters. They looked different. I knew who Norman was and who Peter was, and uh, so the art's pretty good too. Yeah, guys, that's what I have today. Um, Remember, if you guys do like this kind of content, you watch this far into the video, like, comment, and be subscribed to the channel. Helps the algorithm. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, and have a great day.